Earlier I talked about this blemish up here and that I was going to try to fill that in with something, but once I put this up to the back of the airplane, this basically gets covered completely and fabric's going to be over that, and even if the rudder was swung all the way to the left, you wouldn't probably see any blemishes in there. So I'm going to leave that. Down here I didn't give myself a lot to work with. It's very thin. In fact, I don't know if those are hairline cracks, but there is the bottom rib that comes around here, and so I scratched that up to the best of my ability using that 120 grit. I'm hoping that gives me enough bonding strength. I can bond that well to that bottom rib, and it'll help maintain the structural integrity of that piece. You might be able to see some of the scratching in there from the 120 grit sandpaper where I hit the ribs. Some of it you can't even hardly tell that I did anything, but up here I guess it's looking a little bit more scratched. Hopefully that'll allow me to get a pretty good bond, and I've got some pretty good textury stuff up here, so hopefully that'll bite in. If not, the fabric's pulling over this and it should squeeze it in tight against the trailing edge of the rudder. So I guess I'm not sure how much, if even, this is supposed to bond to the ribs or just make a nice covering over the top. So I'm going to test fit it here and we'll see how it looks. And it comes right down to that bottom rib, and the rest of them look like they're fitting pretty flush as far as the grooves go. Looks like they pretty smooth there. So I went deep enough this time so I don't have to do it again later on. Same up here, all the way to the top. Looks good. All right, I would say that baby is ready for bonding. So before I do that, I'm gonna read the instructions one more time just to double check that I haven't missed anything. See what it says. Similar to the installation of the stabilizer ribs, trim and install the rudder ribs. Done that. After the adhesive is cured, cut and trim 5 rib stiffeners for the ribs shown. Done that. I think I talked about adding some stiffeners to that bottom rib down here. Brandon said that this one gets pulled on quite a bit and might warp if you don't have any lateral stiffeners on there. So I'm going to try to throw 1, 2, maybe 3 of them on there. I think back here I'll be okay. It wouldn't hurt to put another one back there if I can find some scrap, but I don't think I have scrap rib stiffeners. I think I had the 19 pieces or whatever it was with the kit, and I've used them up, so I'll see if there's any other types of scraps. I'm sure nothing is scrap, but I'll see if there's any more rib stiffeners. If I can use some now and order some later, I will do that. Again, it says as soon as the structural adhesive cures, apply a minimum of 2 coats of the epoxy varnish to the wood ribs in the rudder to prevent warpage due to humidity changes. I'll be doing that after I epoxy on the speed fairing. Optional airfoiled vertical tail assembly. Okay, I've done the trailing edge. Now it's the leading edge. As with the stabilizer tip, when the fairing is properly trimmed and slotted, prep the appropriate surfaces and bond it in place. So I have prepped the appropriate surfaces. Nothing back there needs to be prepped. Everything is right here, and then I'll attach this to that. So let's mix up some 9460 and do a little epoxying.
Hell yeah!
All right, it's a little bit warm in here. It's about 67 degrees, so I added a little bit of cotton flocks to the 9460. I mixed up 10 grams of each, and I didn't keep you guys, I let you watch in time lapse, so hopefully that was good. I got a call coming in, so I'm gonna have to pause. All right, that was the Minnesota Highway Patrol. I am not in trouble, thank heavens. Just a routine checkup. Let's get this baby lowered down where we need it so we can work right in front of our face. I'm pretty happy with this bench so far. A lot of options. It is time for another cup of coffee. I got my High Sol 9460 mixed up in my little tube here. Got a longer syringe. I'm going to try to put a small fillet down here, add on to this bottom rib where it had come loose. So we'll put a little bit more on there and then add a little tiny bit to the bottom also if we can. A little bit easier to do it now than when it's on the plane. It's hard to get down in all those crevices though, that's for sure. I'd like to have almost a needle nose extension for these things sometimes, but I got a little dab in there. I'll see if I can use this popsicle stick to coax it around the band. There we go. Also, I'll bond this to the leading edge. Just going to put a little, try to get a small amount on there, although with this syringe it's going to get a fat nozzle on it. Maybe I'll try to hit everything on this side and then come around to the other side. And I'm going to have to separate it when I put it on here so I don't just smear this stuff right down the side of the fairing. I didn't really think about that till now, so maybe I can put a couple foam blocks or something in between there and slide it over. Or not, one edge at a time perhaps, we'll see. I might have a fine mess. And I might as well speed you guys up. So I just took some of my pink foam that I keep around here and tried to spread these out a little bit so that I can hopefully go over, take the foam out, and then it clamps together on the goo so I don't just rake it all the way back down through the whole piece. So we'll see how this works. Whoops, that doesn't help. It helped a little bit. Overall, I still got to get that out of there. Not so bad. So that's going to wrap up today's episode. If you haven't already done so, hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the little bell for future notifications so you don't miss any good videos like this when they come out. So thanks for watching, stay tuned, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Goodbye.